Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Let us start this lecture with a concept which were built into our psychic, that is Pancha Mahabhuta. Of course, it is a space and fire, air, water and earth. We are now discussing about water, how to preserve it, how to conserve it, how to use it sparingly so that it will be can be utilized properly and without spoiling its quality. And in the last lecture, we discussed about various reservoir systems for irrigations, and also we looked at various kinds of canals or the channels were being built by our ancestors for taking care of water need for both for the cultivation and also for the drinking. Today we will be talking about how they were controlling basically flow of the water from the river and also from the reservoirs. They were using the sluices. Sluices are basically devices in the form of gate or valves through which water flow can be regulated well. Of course, this is the modern way of doing, but in ancient days the people were using that. If you look at, generally this is the embankment which is being placed, and then of course there will be some this is made of generally earth or the soil, and then there will be upstream machinery kind of things, and there will be water which is bodies coming in, and there will be some line tunnel which will be there, right. And this will be the sluice gate which is to be basically placed, and it can be controlled in such a way that you can have flow through this channel or the tunnels which is there to the downstream in the distributary channel or some other channels. And generally these sluices are little bit kept away from the upstream embankment, and the distance is very important for its life and also for its operation. And those knowledge were there with them, because we find lot of evidences of uses of sluice gates in ancient India. Sluices are generally installed at the points of maximum water depth and quite far from the embankment, as I told earlier. And as I told earlier, the sluices were known to ancient India even before prehistoric period, because in Sanskrit it is known as Udaga Bandhu, and Tumbu in Tamil, Tubu in Kannada and Tumus in Telugu are the names of the sluice gates found in ancient inscriptions. And Sangam literature of the south and later Pandya's records indicate number of construction of sluices to river channels and small reservoirs around the Madurai. The same tradition of building reservoir sluices were continued by the Pallavas and Cholas also. People were knowing how to do, and it was a group of people who were expert and then doing that. And as I told earlier, there was a committees for controlling the sluice and maintaining the sluice in the I think 2-3 lectures back. And the Biraman tank built by Chola Parantaka I around 950 AD was having something 74 sluices, and this was built at the fag end of Kaveri Delta. So, these are all evidences which are historically found, and of course, some of them were not being known to people. And Cholagangam reservoir by Chola Rajendra I was having several sluices and channels for irrigation of a larger area. Let us look at how they were making these sluice gates. Generally, the dressed granite slabs, laterite blocks and plank of trees even were used for making sluices. and ropes were used for opening and closing the sluices. Coconut fibers and the jute fibers were being used for making ropes. The size of a sluice in Siragali, Tanjore district was found to be around 89 centimeter wide and 20 centimeter breadth. And head sluice, which is basically known as Mukhavaya in Tamil, it is a salt water regulator made of strong masonry work, usually placed at point where the canal takes off from the river or a tank. The head of water, it is generally constructed above the head sluice with a large mouth through which the excess flow of water will be transmitting that can enter into the canal from the main sluice. And massive head sluice is basically made of a solid granite block which was built by Chola Kolotunga III around 1205 AD, and it is a really very remarkable native engineering work which is still in good condition for supplying water to Tiruchirappalli town from Bayakondam channel that branches off from Kaveri near the Betuba Talai railway station. If you just analyze these things, and also most of the surviving reservoirs built during the early Pandyas around something 700 to 800 CE have stone sluices. The position and the depth of these sluices were very accurate, such that they were providing the very least amount of silt level, because you might be aware that wherever we place a sluice, there is a more chances that the silt will be deposited there, and due to the slow motion of the fluid stagnation of the water. But they were placed a very nice way in ancient time. They were having lot of knowledge with them of placing the sluice gates in such a way that minimum silt deposition will be occurring. And this evidence, and also there are several other evidences, clearly indicate that the engineers in ancient India had a higher level of technical skills. So, let us look at the sluice system, which I will be trying to give a feel that how it is looks. It is basically single valve system without any mechanical device. It was built of two granite pillar on either side of sluice mouth, and its sizes were varied depending on the depth, right. And basically the distance between two pillars was about around 1 to 1.5 meters. So, this is a, if you look at the two stones pillars are there here, and this is having a sluice gate, and sluice with the upper moldings. This is the upper moldings, and there is also, it is not visible to you people, might be, there is a carvings of goddess Lakshmi flanked by elephants, here, and these are the what you call remnants of that. And if you look at beside this, there is also some carvings will be here in the sluice, whoever will be donors, their name. I will be giving some evidence which was basically mentioned in the work of Kathleen D. Morrison, University of Chicago. If you look at, this is the remnants of a sluice system, and this is the place where you can see that white painted portraits of two donors, right. You can see one is here, another is here, and this is the 5th century Malappanagudi reservoir, in which the masonry embankment with the stairs can be seen. These are the stairs, these are also stairs which are partially buried sluice. This sluice is being buried in that. That means this clearly indicates that people were donating money for building of sluice gates and then embankments and also the irrigation systems. This is the mouth of the sluice, where the water will be getting into, and this is the shutter plank. This plank is the shutter plank, and there is a valve rod which will be lifting up and down so that you can allow the water to pass through that. And in modern times also similar sluice gate systems are being used, but not made of granites or not made of stones, rather made of kind of metals. If you look at, there are several embankments in ancient India, particularly for the rivers. What do you mean by embankment? Embankment is basically an artificial wide wall of stone, bricks or earthen mounds which are built to keep the rivers, canals, tanks from overflowing the banks, right. It impound water and enhances storage capacity of the tank or the river. See, earlier days embankment were made in a better ways kind of things, and this construction of embankment, which is in Sanskrit known as Kritimani Rodasi, goes back to the Vedic era. In Rig Veda there is a description about it, and also in Tamil it is known as Kulai and Arukulai, denote the tank bund and the river embankment. And Junagadh inscription related to the famous Sudarshan lake by the Rudraman I indicates that its embankment of 100 feet thick were made of stones without any gaps. Right, I had mentioned that how they were dressing the stones in such a nice way without modern equipments, so that there won't be any gap in between. Otherwise, the water leakage will be there. And Chola Karikala built embankments of 100 miles from the mouth of river Kaveri in around 100 AD. The excavation in 1915 in Tamil Nadu indicates that canal embankments were constructed with hard lime gravels mixed with stone, and these were rammed enough to withstand the rush of water. Large irrigation reservoir Cholagangam by Chola Rajendra I has embankments of 12.8 kilometers, several sluices and gates and channels. And if you look at the Kathurjodi embankment by Markata Kesari around 1002 AD was built to save the Cuttack city of Odisha from the erosion due to flood, which is still remain intact. Unfortunately, few years back this on the top of it people have made another embankment kind of things because of the sand depositions. And I will just show you a pictures here. These are all made of stones, right, and which were there, and now of course this is the river Kathajodi, and this is now the city is at a higher height because of this embankment, and new embankment has come up, this is known as a ring road. If you look at there is also, I remember that when they make some embankments, what they do, they keep this embankment on the river on one side, and other side they will be having a provision of inundating the fields, so that during the flood the water will be allowed to pass to the other areas where the cultivation will be going on. So that silts and other water also will be going and being to the field intentionally, and that helps in what you call having a good crops due to the enrichment of the soils and also the water. So, and also they were building some of the temporary wells on the other side of the river where they will be allowing the water to inundate. So, these kind of ways and means were there, and now we will be talking about how did our ancestors manage water harvestings and also water conservations at that time. What they are doing, the communities were providing volunteer labor and material contribution for building these facilities for common good. That was the mindset, not unlike in modern days where we always think that that government will do. That does not mean that king or local administrators were not doing anything at that time. They were also helping for the local people for making of initial water bodies. They are paying some money also, the resources, they are mobilizing their resources to build those. But the maintenance always will be the community members, and they conserved and protect the water from pollution, ensure it is equitable and fair distribution. That was there, the job was done by the local governance, and also the people were coming, participating in the process. They were owning those water bodies, but today it is not. And glorious tradition of water harvesting by the villagers were talked about in several places in scriptures and also in history books. Community with strong support and encouragement from the state was the need of the hour today, and it was there earlier also. And ingenuity and wisdom of our forefathers who made the harvesting water, its management an integral part of native culture and community life. So, we need to revive this community life and native culture of harvesting and considering the water as a divine, not misusing it, abusing it or polluting it for the sake of industrialization, for the sake of harboring more money or hoarding the resources. And knowledge transfer from one generation to another was the very important, which was being stopped today, and as we do not have faith in traditional knowledge, and non-commercialization way of solving the problem of water scarcity, like because the today commerce is entering into everywhere. So, what we need to do, Bahujana Hitaya, Bahujana Sukhaya should be the ethos with which we should go ahead. And lesson from ancient wisdom, we can summarize that we should solve the water problem in an integrated manner, not that only the water, but it has to be looked at through the eyes of environment and the other creatures and other trees and other things. Adopt proper lifestyle respecting the mother nature. In each entities of the mother nature are divine, and we should protect it and we should look after them. Meaning of sustainability in modern times should be re-evaluated in light of ancient public works and management practices, because today we are talking about sustainability, but it is not a part of our design and the way of life. Technological developments based on the sound engineering principle integrated with local culture and traditional knowledge system that can be extended useful lives, because that we need to look at it. It is not that we will use the old technology of ancient time, but we need to improvise it. We cannot really do that at this moment, but local culture and traditional must be integrated into that. Active participation of community in solving water problems must be encouraged, and we should come from our heart. And in water stress areas, development of an effective water resource management program is essential and the need of the hour. Water technologies by the people, for the people of the people. It should not be with the companies or multinational companies, okay, or any companies, even Indian companies. It should be with the people. And local materials and local sustainable technologies should be used for water harvesting and water irrigation systems. And now with this, is it possible to use ancient knowledge for the water harvesting and reviving the dead river today? If you look at this is the things, I will just tell you, it is a very dry areas, there was no rivers kind of thing. It was in 1985. And a group, Tarun Bharat Sangh, led by Sri Rajendra Singh, who has done a wonderful work on this water conservation. He has developed with the local knowledge, and he could have a river system, revive the river which was dried out in 1895, in 2000. That means within 15 years, if you look at lot of greenery, this is the same mountain what it was earlier. This is the mountain, right, or hill you can say, but now it is a very greenery. Now that means if we use our traditional technology and the local participation of the people for conserving, we can really do wonders. And this is another things what I would like to show you also. This is the area what is very dry, and they made these check dams here. This is the dam, right, and water is falling by the local people, even water is this wells, and they could make a lot of greenery things in that areas. And there is a, if you look at it, is in 1885, sorry, it is 1985, this kind of things. These people have made these dams and slopes, and this water will fall, and they could make lot of cultivation in around that. These water bodies have come up, and similarly lot of good flowers and greeneries you can see in 2012. So that means with the use of these traditional technologies, people can revive, and people of the local people are having developed, rather in the local people have now developed a faith in that, as some of the people could demonstrate that it is possible. And the knowledge with with the people, not with the companies, that is important. And let us look at how we can get a sustainable integrated water management method from this. And if you look at, we should have basically the two ways of looking at improving the quality of life. Ultimately, all engineering, all the activities what we do to improve the quality of life. Quality of life can be improved basically on farm employment, which is very essential for us. So also the off farm employment. If you look at, I have already talked about off farm employment, like your what you call making houses, and then cottage industries, and also the textiles. A lot of things can be made locally. And on farm, the farming is very important. And when you talk about that, we need water, we need good soil, and there is lift irrigation and water harvesting systems, and there will be water and soil conservation also important. And that what you call afforestation activities has to be also stopped, and joint forest management, which will be basically by the local people. Community support services has to be developed, and all this can be developed with the extension of training and financial support, and this will be coming from the village institution and community participation. It can be, if you look at this will be the main thing, and then of course for this during the training we need to have infrastructure energy services, which may be utilized for the off farm systems kind of things, and which will be, again we can develop the human resources, and we can also look at the natural resources. It will be integrated manner. It is not that only the water, it is the related to the what you call the roti, kapda and makan, which is the basic needs, that is your house, food and the cloth, which are the basic needs, has to be met in an integrated manner without really spoiling the nature, rather living with the nature. So that is the thing what we need to learn from this. So what can we do for the water crisis? We need to have efficient water management strategies and technique, that is conservation, reuse and recycle, and we will have to develop awareness among people regarding water management, how to use the water sparingly, and initiate community concept of living a purposeful life, which is very important. And we need to go back to the Indian village culture of living harmoniously with mother nature. Today the people are trying to convert the village into towns. I always feel that we need to convert the towns into village. That means which will be integrated with the mother nature, and there will be some cultivation lands inside the town itself, so that they will be self sufficient. Nature friendly ancient Indian water technologies, access to the good sanitation and drinking water must be nurtured, and rainwater harvesting is very important, that we need to look at, because that is the what you call we need to collect. Unfortunately, because of industrialization we are getting acid rain. Now how we will take care? Basically we will have to stop this industrialization. However, we can go for the cottage industries, and we will have to capture and store rainfall and use it efficiently. Harvest each and every drop of rain and catch it where it falls. एक जो लाइक पानी की बर्बादी रोको, इसके लिए सभी को टोको, बचत करोगे बूंद बूंद की, अपने मन में ठानो. So, with this quotation from a poet, I would like to stop over here, and water is precious, we need to conserve it, we will have to use our ancient technologies and also the way of life, live with the nature, not against the nature. And all our life should be evolved around such that we will be a part and parcel of the mother nature and lead a very purposeful, peaceful life. Thank you very much.